All right, let's draw this bad boy. We have, oh man, what was that? Let's put a dot here, and we have two ropes on a hammock. We'll just say the hammock's the dot. And we have, first one's a 45-degree angle. I'll call that T1. We'll call this T2, and that is a 30-degree angle. And we have some force gravity down. It's not really a rope, I'm just kind of showing you where it is. And that's 560 newtons. So let's draw out my T2 cosine of 30. This would be T1 cosine of 45 and T1 sine of 45 and T2 sine of 30. And remember, I have that as a y as well. So let's do the x first. That's usually how we do this. Sum of the forces in the, that's an x, believe it or not, equals 0. All my forces are negative T1 cosine of 45 degrees plus T2 cosine of 30 degrees. And all of that equals 0. I'm going to go real fast here and go T2 equals T1. Cosine of 45 would be on top. Cosine of 30 had to get kind of divided out of there, so I'm taking some shortcuts here. Remember, if T2 equals this, everywhere we see it in the next one, we'll replace it with that. So sum of the forces in the y direction equals 0, and all of my forces in the y direction would be T1 sine of 45 plus T2 sine of 30, and then I have a negative 560. Holy, 560 newtons. And all of that equals 0. So everywhere I see a T2, I'm going to replace it with this. And my T2 is right there. So let's go. T1 sine of 45. Now here's my T2. And I'm going to replace it with the box. Cosine of 45 over cosine of 30. But do not forget that sine of 30. A lot of you will forget that's there. I'm going to throw the 560 to the other side because we're going to have to. Now I got to grab a calculator. All right, sine of 45, 0.7071. And I'm going to put the T1 on the back side. Now I got to do all this. This is going to be one decimal. So I go cosine of 45, I hit enter, divided by cosine of 30, I hit enter, and then I multiply by sine of 30. And my calculator tells me 0.4082, and I still have a T1 there. Sorry, it's getting a little messy. And all of that equals 560 newtons. All right. So now I've got to add these two decimals. The one's already in there, so I'm going to add a 0.7071, and I get 1.115 T1 equals 560. How do you get T1 all by itself? Let's divide this all out of there by 1.115. And so it's already in my calculator, 560 divided by answer, and I get 502 newtons. All right, let's come back and throw it into this equation. So T2 will equal T1, which now I have a value for, 502 newtons. But you still have this cosine of 45 over cosine of 30 hanging out here. So I'm going to do the cosine stuff first. Cosine of 45, enter, divided by cosine of 30, enter. And now I'm going to multiply that by 502. and I get 409. So T2 equals 409 newtons. Woo woo? Woo woo.